Hi everybody, I'm Karen. This is my channel KC, and I'm here to do reading for water signs for October the 15th through the end of the month, 2019. However, this reading will be applicable whenever you see it. It's perfect. Time is fluid. Don't worry about it. In my meditation for my water signs, my gorgeous water signs, I saw, or no, actually I heard micro and macro perspective, pulling one from the other, movement into balance, stasis, equilibrium. And then I got Libra, the sign Libra, the scales, the yin and the yang. And what I saw was, or what I got was that, what came to mind was that the object is to be balanced, to have a balance within. And so whatever is created within will show up on the external. That's one. But we're on a journey to create that beautiful balance, that beautiful equilibrium that allows for everything. Not too much of one way, not too much of the other, but just right. And so there's a journey for my water signs to create that type of balance in your life, in your heart, in your spirit. And what happens is that I get that. So if you go too far into the yin of something, the passive feminine side of something, if you go too far because it's a circle, you're going to come to the male side. So if you get too laid back and inactive and receptive, eventually you're going to go so low that you come to the part of the circle or the wheel that puts you at activity, the outward expression, the yang expression of whatever it is that you're experiencing. It could be emotion, it could be an activity, but if we go too far into joy, we're going to wind up in sadness. And if we go too far into sadness, we have no choice but to come back to joy. And so ultimately the balance, the achievement of balance is what is nirvana, is what is true happiness, not the excess of one or the other. Excess creates addiction, it creates dependency, it creates stuff that is extreme, not balance. And ultimately, this month and this time, what my water signs are seeking is to even out the emotions, to even out and balance our emotions so that we're not taken by the hurricane and whipped up and create something that is not of our intention, or not of what we really wanted to have show up. Because that can happen in a hurricane when the water is whipped up and it's, and there's hot air and there's whatever it is that takes to create a hurricane. It whips that water up and it causes a lot of destruction. That's not what we're looking for. And when it's too stagnant, the water, it creates mold and mildew and death and decay. And that's not what we're looking at, or what we want either. What we want is a steady flow and balance in the water. We want it to flow, but we want it to be balanced. And it's a balancing act. It's kind of like balancing on a tight wire, but it's with our emotions, it's with our mental, it's with our physical. We pull all of these aspects and look at in each and every way on all aspects. How can we do that? That's what the earth signs, my meditation today, that's what I'm getting that you guys have been up to. I want to start off the reading. I didn't pre-pick the decks. So we're going to use the Colette Baron, the Spirit Animal Oracle. We're going to use Lucy Cavendish, Les Vampires Oracle. And we're going to use woohoo, the Egyptian Lord deck. Okay? So, with what I had in mind, let's get into the oracles. Let's see what we're dealing with from the vampires. Too many cards, people. Mother, Father, Spirit, please calling on our guides to connect, to deliver clear, concise messages that will allow people who tap into this reading to have, be empowered, to have options that are powerful and for the benefit of the whole. Thank you. My guides. Water signs, please advise what our water signs need to know at this time. Oh, okay. So, the Hunter is a sign, a card that I pulled for the air signs. So you might want to look at the air sign reading. May have some information that may be relevant. The Hunter is about aggressor, tracker, provider, and it talks about not necessarily having to kill what you're in pursuit of in order to have what is you need in your life. So not having to go to the ultimate extreme is how I'm interpreting this in order to create a situation that works for you. So you don't need all of the animals to be slaughtered and frozen for just your family. You don't need all of anything. There's a ebb and flow to nature and how one respects and appreciates nature. And from those ebbs and flows, if we look and pay attention to nature, we can find better how to balance our own lives. If we look at the state that our oceans are in currently, we can see that we're doing some real damage to our planet that if we don't stop and repair, will cause a great imbalance for, and is causing a great imbalance for a lot of us on the planet through flooding and climate change and what have you. It's not a balance, and we need to seek to get back into balance. So that's the first card. And then the second card is primal, connecting deep within the sacred dance of instinct. And your dance of instinct, in order to be connected with your dance of instinct, you need to be grounded in Mother Earth. And if Mother Earth is unbalanced, then you're unbalanced. So if your body is unbalanced, first of all, if you're feeding your body stuff that's not supporting you, is getting you out of balance, if you have addictions and you're putting alcohol or drugs into your body on a constant and it's throwing you out of whack, then you need to do something to shift that, because that's not going to allow for balance that's needed and for you to be connected to your sacred internal dance, to your instinct. And then we have the last card from this deck, Her Last Day in the Light, Unexpected Endings, Surprise Changes, and Sudden Shifts. And what that's telling me is, if we go and we look at climate change, and I'm not saying this as a political statement or what, this is just what I believe. If we look at climate change and look at what's happening to the planet because of the imbalance because of what we're doing to the earth, it's creating sudden change. It's creating flash floods, flash fires, It's creating all kinds of chaos in our lives and causing sudden shifts, The ice caps are melting at a rate that's unprecedented. And so when that happens, it throws out of whack the balance and the levels of the sea, of the oceans. So if we could take that from a from a macro level of the planet down to the macro of your existence as a human being on the planet, a biological, live thing on the planet, and your relationship to the planet and how you treat first of all, your physicality and then everything around you, then we can get some lessons. So the fact that the planet is way out of shape and way out of balance is just an indication that the majority of us on the planet, higher life forms, so we like to think, are way out of balance. And it's time for a new way of living, and a new way of treating ourselves, and a new way of asserting and nurturing and caring and acknowledging what is really important, what is really life-giving. Time for acknowledging the goddess energy, which is the energy that brings life forth, which creates life, which is Mother Earth. It's time for us to acknowledge that. Maybe go camping, maybe go fishing, maybe volunteer to clean up, a beach, or some plastic in the sea, or I don't know, but I'm definitely tapping into a level of high involvement in ecology, and what that means for us and the planet. Some of you may have children who are highly active in creating a planet that is going to be there when they get to be your age. I don't know, but there's something huge around this for water signs at this point in time. Now I'm going to pull an animal card. And the animal card is that's coming up is time to collaborate. So what I'm getting from this card is that in order to make the biggest difference possible, it's time for you to get with people who are like-minded. It's time for you to find people. If you don't feel supported, if you feel out of whack, if you're not living the life you want to live the way you want to live it, it's time to find the people that are your soul group, who can support you in being who it is you're meant to be, and letting go of whatever it is that needs to be releasing, and acknowledging whatever it is that needs to be acknowledged in order for you to be sovereign, in order for you to be accountable, responsible, a leader, in order for you to govern and leave a legacy that is something that is worth leaving for your children and your grandchildren. And if you don't have any, then for whoever, because ultimately we're all connected. And that's what we're talking about. We're all connected. So when we find the balance of connectivity, when we find the flow, the flow of the yin and the yang, the flow, the stasises, and I'm not even sure what that word really means. And they keep telling me stasises, and I believe it has to do with balance. But let me take a moment to pull it up, because that's really important. Hold on, let me just take a moment to pull up the S-T-A-C-I-S. I don't even know how to spell it. I'm not finding it right away. S-T-A-C-I-S. Definition. No, I'm not finding it. I'm taking it to mean and at equilibrium, at in between, like a balance point. And if I'm not correct, somebody please leave a comment and let me know what it really means, because I don't want to take more time to find that. But I lost my whole train of thought. So for water, we're dealing with the micro and the macro. We're dealing with the yin and the yang. We're dealing with equilibrium and balance. And that could mean a lot of things to a lot of people. It could relate differently. And truth be told, there are many people who will listen to this reading, so it's not the same for everybody. But basically, it's a concept. It's a concept of taking from the general, bringing it down to the specific, or from the specific up to the general. And what we're looking at is the meeting point. We're on the graph that the general meets the specific. That point, we want to pinpoint it. We want to target our beingness. We want to target our health. We want to target our concern to in a way that allows us to be balanced and to create balance in the world around us. Okay? So that we can have and create longevity and stability. When things are to the extremes, they become unstable, and that's not healthy for anyone. So it's about bringing ourselves back to stability. Now, at this point, I'm guided to pull some cards from the Mythic Goddess Tarot. And I think I want to do, and I've never tried this with this deck, but I think I want to do a Celtic cross with it. So I'll tell a story. Let's see. In the self position, we have Earth and the works, and you can see the different chakras. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about our body. We're talking about the Earth and how we're interacting with it, how we're interacting with our own bodies. And what's crossing that is Shakti, ecstatic union. And that ecstatic union can be an extreme. Not that we don't want to have ecstatic union, but we don't want to have ecstatic union all the time. Because anything all the time is going to be out of balance. In the subconscious position, we have the ace, which is illumination, fire. In the conscious position, we have balance, which is the whole point of this reading, to bring things into balance. In the past, we have purifier, which means that sometimes things have to break down in order to be rebuilt into a more balanced state, foundation. And in the future, we have centering, which again speaks to balance. Balancing, when it talks about the fire, we're talking about our spirituality. Balancing our spirituality, balancing our judgmental beliefs, letting go of things that don't serve us anymore, and coming more into understanding that we're all connected, that everything is connected, that there's no one religion or doctrine that is going to be dominant over another, that it's about inclusion and integration of the all in order to create the balance that's necessary. What is in your how you see yourself? Water signs is the high priestess. So you know things that are not said, and you know the impact, and you understand what needs to be changed, even though it may not be apparent to the naked eye. It's about card is very scorpionic. It's about the unseen, the hidden, and digging that up and changing it. And how people see you is the wind, fear. And your greatest fear is the wind, patience. Oh, and the outcome of this situation, Spirit, please let us know from beautiful water signs what the outcome is. Ooh, self-destruction, which indicates that something is way, way out of balance. So I like to get further clarification on that self-destruction. Now, self-destruction, they're telling me, it could go one or two ways. It could go that you're choosing to self-destruct something so that you can begin again to create a balance, because it's so out of balance that you can't just move the furniture around on the Titanic and have it still float. So it has to be destroyed in order to start from the first step, from the first initial cornerstone. The other way to take this is that there's something in your life that is so out of balance that is causing you to self-destruct, your world to self-destruct, such as the plastics in the sea, such as the out of balance that the climate control is causing. I'm sorry, not climate control, but the way the climate is going in response to how we're treating Mother Earth is self-destructive, and that it's a sign, it's a red flag for us to either do something or die, to do something or cease to exist in the way that we know existence on this planet, because we're so set and so way out of balance until there's no other option but to self-destruct. So that is the reading from this deck. I want to get further clarification on the centering on the near future card, fire, and it says ace, which is realization. So if you center yourself, if you take time to feed your body what it requires, that's going to be the best sustainable food for your body. If you take time to meditate, to open your heart, to do exercise, to give to your body what your body needs in order to be at optimum, as you would to a Ferrari sports car. You know, you're not going to put low-grade gasoline in a Ferrari. You're going to take care of it to the specs that it requires, and it's going to perform to those specs, or it's going to be really messed up. It's going to self-destruct because it just won't take any old thing. So is your body, so is your mind, so is your spirit. If you feed it garbage, it's going to give you garbage. If you feed it nurturing information, nurturing substances, then it's going to give you victory. That's how we get it. I'd like to further go about talking about the balance, which is in the conscious position. So in order to balance, sometimes we need to have isolation. That's one hand. Some of you may need to isolate yourself, to go into hermit mode in order to create balance in your life. On the other hand, some of you may need to collaborate, go into groups and to of like-minded people who are supportive, not people who are negative or people who you've been with who you continue to feel not good around, or you continue to feel down or some conflict with. You want to be around people who uplift you, who you feel inspired by, versus people who bring you down and you don't feel inspired by. So you want to isolate yourself from those types of people and include yourself in more like-minded groups who can have something to offer and have something to show you, who can help you to come up and out of the despair, up and out of the self-destructiveness that you're facing. All right, you don't want to be stagnant. You don't want to be with the same people over and on the block and never leave the block, and so you just have what's on the block, even though that might be a slum state of mind, state of life. You want to elevate to the next level. You want to be around people who have something to offer, who are willing to share, are willing to give you something. People who you feel when they talk, when they are with you, when they share with you, when you make love to them, they inspire and you come out energized versus depleted. okay? You want to pay attention to your state of being and who you allow around you, because that makes all of the difference in the world in terms of where you're headed. You could be headed on a downward spiral of self-destruction, or you could be headed on a productive upward spiral of ascension. It's your choice. And you do have to choose. You do have to choose. So with that, I want to go to The Vampire deck by Lucy Cavendish. Oh, they don't want to all come up, come up, come up, up. That's vampires. Because I'm feeling this energy of vampire, narcissist, unhealthy mental issues, people around you, situations around you coming at you, water signs. And I want you to, these cards to help with what that is. Identify, please tell me what is going on with that. There's craving, compulsion, and obsession. Thirst. There are a lot of thirsty people around you. You may not identify it as that or realize it, but that's what's going on. And those thirsty people are draining you of your life force, of your vitality, of your waters of life. You're currently craving something with such a great thirst that it is dominating your thoughts and feelings, and you can think of hardly anything else. Oh, this is water signs. You're the ones who are craving. Thirst can be wonderful, or it's the cross-watcher, put it as you will. Thirst can be wonderful when that which you long for, yearn for, is healthy and wise, but in this case, the thirst is for a kind of experience you know will have life-changing consequences. For with us, the thirst we experience is not just for the blood, the drink that sustains us, it is for the stream of humanity and a song of life and beautiful warmth that runs through the blood. So too for you, what you thirst for is very close to becoming an addiction, out of balance, or an obsession which draws you away from what makes you you. If it's a person you thirst for, their touch, their love, or if it's a substance, known that this thirst is an extremely powerful force, even close to a control. There may be an addiction or an added addictive way of thinking and feeling working its way into your life. We wish to direct your consciousness to this thirst and ask you to question its source. What is it the thirst craves? Can it be satisfied? Or are you simply compelled to search and drink again and again? Know that some thirst can be satisfied in ways that are in tune with your personality, yourself this time, all manifestations of your essence and soul, and others will steal you further and further away from your true self. The blessing. The thirst will lead you to know more about yourself and how far you go to quest for something you want. You could encounter a way through to self-knowledge, but consider, too, that what you thirst for, you may never find. Many of we children of the night thirst more for the humanity we have been separated from in so many ways than from the thirst for the blood of the same. The curse of this card is this thirst for knowledge, for a person, for fulfillment, for lust, for ecstasy, and vanishment of pain through experience or food or drug or alcohol that distracts you from the pains you no longer wish to feel, dominates you. The thirst is so strong that it's taking over your life force and your will. You are being consumed. It is time to assert yourself, your true self, once again. So, as in anything that becomes extremely out of balance, then the lesson is that there is a consuming nature to that experience, and if it's not put in check, then it leads to self-destruction. So this is what we're dealing with, or some of us are dealing with in this reading. To end the reading, I want to go to the Animal Oracle. and ask for information to close out this reading, the best way, the best advice, the best way of being to take on to handle this. And I have 2 cards. And the first one is Badger Spirit. It says, be fearless and bold. And the second is Brown Bear Spirit, take time out. So I want to go to the book. For Badger, we have, let's see. Badger Spirit rejoices at your presence, at your persistence and commitment to what is truly for you. What's for you is for you. You don't have to ever worry about that. Whatever you seek, your tenacity and faith in your partnership with Spirit is paying off, and the results will soon coalesce into form in your world. The gift of Badger Spirit is surety that taking a risk now and being courageous, fearless, and bold will yield wondrous results. This is a time to harness your will and apply it consistently to the pursuit of your dreams. Know that no matter the temporary outer conditions, you will manifest your desires in divine timing and in the form that Spirit deems best for you. Badger Spirit says you have what it takes to get what you want, so assert yourself. Be fearless and be bold, shining your light as your purpose calls you into the world. New relationships are also given a green light now. Don't be afraid to make the first move. Badger Spirit loves your brave and mighty heart. And the protection message for this is when Badger Spirit comes to protect you, he reminds you that anger or aggression, argumentative behavior, and being pushy or manipulative will not result in a positive outcome. Perhaps someone close to you has excess Badger energy, or perhaps the energy is pent up in you. Either way, now is the time to calm down and allow the energy to pass through you. Go for a hike or a brisk walk, shake it off, or dance it out so you can return to the situation determined and committed, but not so intense that you overwhelm others and yourself. The appearance of Badger Spirit also serves as a reminder if you have been recently pursuing something that keeps eluding you. The message is that it is time to surrender it to your higher power and focus on something else. Badger Spirit wants to protect you from self-will, run rampant, from being obsessed with getting what you want in the form you prefer, in timing that fits perfectly with your notion of what has to be. Remember, the world doesn't revolve around your wants. Better, more beautiful opportunities will be the result when you release some of the Badger Spirit intensity along with your need to have it your way 100%. And the other card is the Brown Bear Spirit, which talks about, well, I'm going to just read the protection message from this. When you become so frazzled that you can't decide how to move forward, Brown Bear Spirit arrives to remind you to let go of your impatience in getting to the answers and solving the problems that face you. Now is the time for rest and meditation. Take a break. Let insights arise and know you have plenty of time to make plans. Brown Bear Spirit reminds you that sometimes the best and the most effective action is non-action, allowing the situation around you to reveal itself to you so you can better understand it. Remember that what is yours will never be withheld from you, so you really can relax, wait until the next right action is revealed. Miracles come from out of nowhere, and yours will arrive on Great Spirit's timetable. And that is the end. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to be here to the end of this reading. Please like, click like button and subscribe, and let me know what you think of these readings. I hope that you got something out of it. I send blessings to all you beautiful water signs, and I look forward to seeing you in November. Bye.